What's up, y'all? It's your guy, eBay Fight Predictions in the building. I don't know if you're watching me on Instagram or on YouTube, but this is Fight Talk number 28. We are going to be talking everything fight related. UFC Noche is coming up. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. But I've been gone for a long time. So we got to recap on some of the stuff I've missed. And we got some stuff coming up that I would love to talk about. But yeah, more importantly, let's talk about what happened last. Let's talk about the last pay-per-view. Let's talk about the fall of Israel Adesanya. But before we talk about that, though, I got to introduce my partner in crime, the man from the UK, the biggest Tom Aspinall writer I know, the biggest writer of all UK nonsense I know. That guy, Slice Bread Ed. Talk to the people.
I don't even know how to cut. I don't even know how to respond to that. just know. Do you know what it is? I've got two horses. I've got two horses in the race. Either my boy Stipe gets him or Tom gets him. So I know. I mean, I've stacked the deck. I've stacked the deck more or less. So I'm quite happy in that part. We're gonna get John Jones. You know, we're gonna get him. We're gonna one way or another. We'll get him. We'll get him. It's just I'm not even. Do you know what it is? As far as MMA media is concerned, I just can't cope, man. I'm just listening to Dana just waffling about him and just talking nonsense the entire time.
I think Dana, okay, I guess we're gonna talk about Jones. Let's start off with Jones because I feel like that's been kind of the biggest thing this week. I feel like they made the biggest mistake making Tom Aspinall and that Sergey Pavlovich interim title fight, because if the end goal was to always do the Stipe Muchacho versus John Jones fight, they should have probably never done that. You know what I'm saying? So, because the problem is, it's he's the interim champion, and we know what happens when you're the interim champion. You fight the champ, not the number 8 guy in the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? As much as some people might not like to hear it, but Stipe Miocic's last, 4 opponents have been a combination of Daniel Cormier and Francis Ngannou. Last time I checked, Daniel Cormier is retired and Francis Ngannou is in another promotion. So it's I mean, he hasn't fought against any of the new heavyweight, the new generation heavyweight. I think the biggest problem was thinking that this is some type of dream fight and then trying to act as if you have to protect it at all costs. And then they got greedy making an interim title fight for $295 because they needed something because Jones pulled out. So it's a very interesting situation that they put themselves in, but it's their fault. You know what I'm saying? So they have no one else to blame but themselves. I just think you've seen this twice, right? You saw Robert Whittaker, right? He was dealing with the nonsense of Michael Bisping and GSP having their little legend fight. And I just thought it was very weird that, I'm not the biggest fan of the evil Robert Whittaker, but I just thought it was very weird that Robert Whittaker never fought Michael Bisping, right? And that you could tell there was clear politics there, as if you can tell there's clear politics here, right? The second time this has ever happened, a lot of people might not remember this. Renan Barão was the interim champion. Renan Barão to Tom Aspinall is a lot more.
He was cleaning up while Chris was injured, if I remember.
Yeah, it's a lot more comparable, right? Because Renan was, I think, the last interim champion that was defending his belt, just like Tom Aspinall did against Curtis Blades, which is so weird because it's we don't really see that a lot. So it's just a weird situation in general. I just think the UFC fucked up. The only way they can fix this is just getting this John Jones Stipe Muchacho fight out the way. I mean, if one of those old guys fucking break their hip or breaks the fucking leg, I mean, I just at this point just throw him a fucking away, and just make Tom Aspinall the champ, because I mean, we've waited a year for this fight, so
nearly 2, because John Jones won the belt last March.
Yeah,
so it'll be a year and 6 months, a year and 5 months.
Yeah,
we're talking about a dude who's held the belt for nearly 18 months.
Yeah,
obviously he got injured. That wasn't his fault, but it's just I agree with what you're saying. I think the interim fight that they did at MSG was always going to cause this issue. But I think the UFC never like dangling that the whole they never want to ruin their legacies, but they also don't want to ruin their their future planning. So say for instance, I don't believe John Jones beats Tom Aspinall, but let's say John Jones, let's say Stipe pulled out, John Jones fought Tom Aspinall, he beats Tom, and then John Jones retires. What the fuck did they do with that belt? We've just seen Cyril Gane lose twice in title fights. We would have seen Tom's stock drastically drop after John Jones loses. Who the fuck do they put in there to crown the new heavyweight champ? They'd put Powhatan in there without a shadow of a doubt. But who's the other guy? Like they're not going to put Blades in there. One, he's coming off a loss. Two, he's a grappler. Volkov's on a bit of a run. They might put Volkov in front of him. Pavlovich maybe, but Pavlovich is coming off another loss. Jelton Almeida, I can't remember if he's fought since Blades or not. I don't think he has, not since 299. But again, there's nothing there that appeals, if that makes sense. I think they're just playing the long game with the heavyweight division because it tells you a lot. If they're willing to wait nearly 18 months to 2 years for Stipe John Jones, I think it's because they need to line the ducks up in a row with everything else going on. They need Tom ready to save the day. They also need Powhatan to obviously demolish Khalil Roundtree and for him to potentially go up to heavyweight. So they've got other ideas up their sleeve, but they're not willing to throw on that John Jones the case. Dana's always wanted the UFC. What we haven't had, where other sports have had, is like this figure where you're like, oh my god, this is the guy. Like golf has got Tiger Woods, and basketball's got MJ. Right? You're a basketball fan, so it's fair to say, right?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, that guy, and they've always wanted John Jones to be that figure in MMA when he got his boot deal with Nike. I'm saying it the American way because you know what, otherwise you're gonna talk nonsense. And then he lost it because of his antics. But you know as well as I do, very early on, before Reebok and everything else, they really tried to get these endorsements and these sponsorships and tried to really invest heavily in John Jones, especially because he was the guy who won the belt at 23 and he had his whole career ahead of him. So they want him to be that guy where it's like, you know what, he's the Michael Jordan of MMA.
Yeah. I hear you.
And they're trying to protect his legacy. And obviously, everyone's going to say UFC don't care who wins or loses fights. I kind of disagree because obviously they're going to have vested interests in other areas. They care about protecting his legacy, but also protecting their future planning of the heavyweight division.
Yeah, so, I agree. I think, I really agree with that because I feel like they're looking at this whole situation in perspective of pay-per-view sales, right? Because you could do the Tom Aspinall and John Jones fight. Does that really break 1 million pay-per-view buys? I don't think so. You do Stipe Miocic and John Jones. I don't know if they really break like 1 million.
I don't think it does. I think it does 800-900K. It depends on around the card as well. But I think like we alluded it to a bit earlier. It's like they get this legacy money fight out of the way.
Yeah,
they've got Tom in the wings, and then they can potentially, if John Jones or Stipe, whoever wins that fight, is likely to retire. If not both of them retire, you've still got Tom with his record intact.
Exactly.
Then you do him fighting someone else for like the new undisputed belt. Kind of similar. What they don't want to happen is a situation where John Jones fights Tom Aspinall, beats him, retires, and Dana doesn't want to get finessed twice like GSP did.
Because you leave with nothing, right? So it's like
you leave with nothing. You leave with a guy who's supposed to be the guy.
Yeah,
he gets beat by John Jones, and then he takes that bout away. He's already had Francis leave him as well. I said to you, the fact that they're willing to wait 18 months to 2 years to do this, I think a lot of it's got to do with the fact that it's not a case of John Jones not wanting to fight Tom or Tom not wanting to fight John. I think the UFC just don't want to make that fight. I'll be honest, and this is the same John Jones and his team where I forget who he was supposed to fight, but I think Chael Sonnen offered to step in. They pulled out the card completely.
Yeah,
years and years ago. I'm like, big man, if you like, he's supposed to be the baddest dude on the planet, but this is what he does, isn't it? Like he just chickens out and fucks shit up for the rest of us. It's like,
Yeah.
I genuinely think if Stipe pulled out and Tom offered to come in, he would not take that fight. He would not take that fight. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. But there's a big part of me that, like, obviously we hope, those guys don't get hurt and they finally do this fight. But at the end of the day, I just John's a smart guy. He's always, like, in terms of like fighting, he's always been a very smart, like, individual in terms of how he plays things, like probably some of the best fight IQ. I feel like that's probably one of his most underrated parts of his game is his fight IQ. And not only inside the octagon, but outside. And he's like, I mean, the guy's.
I don't know about that, Chief. He's questionable decision making outside of the octagon.
I'll say the reason why I say he's a smart guy is because he has finessed 3 scandals of drug abuse, of the PED situation, and the drug abuse of narcotics like cocaine, probably crystal, whatever the guy's getting into. I don't know, but he's finessed all those situations and came out as a millionaire, right? So that's why I say he's pretty smart, because he's kind of gotten away with a lot of shit, right? And he knows where not to go and where to go, especially in the fighting game. Oh, he got away with fucking hitting his girl. So it's like, I mean, he's still making fucking money. He's still making the big fights, right? His career and his legacy is still intact, and people kind of love him, right? So the thing is, I think John is really smart and he knows who to fight and who not to fight. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, so actually, funny story. I don't want to get too off topic. I did watch that Guru, like, Rainbow Coalition, John Jones.
I'm not gonna lie, that video's too long for me to watch. Like,
I know, I finally watched it last week. I don't know why.
It's like 40 minutes long. I'll be honest, like I might be one of the only dudes who just doesn't give a fuck. Like, John Jones is a bit fruity or whatever he likes doing in his free time.
But like, what's crazy is I wasn't aware of any of the stuff that, like, it was kind of crazy what was in that video. Like, I don't know how any people, I guess Guru, but he had people helping him.
I credit you and tell you, to be honest, I remember, like, you seen the Usman clip flying around with Cejudo. Obviously, we're not going to get into it because it'll be a minefield. But it's like people making 30, 40-minute videos out of like a 30-second clip. And it's like, to me, that situation was very simple. And you broke it down in your Pack Watch video earlier in the week very well. And it's like, well, why do we need to go over this? And why do we need to spend an hour deliberating over this? It's just fucking stupid. It's just...
Yeah, I agree. But no, I just wanted to give some clarification that I have actually watched the video, because I know, like, it's like what, like almost like 3 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
But, I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I went in there with very low standards, thinking that, like, how is he gonna prove he's gay? And
looks like
I'm like, how is he gonna do this, right? And then I watched the video. That, I don't know if you know, there's a part in the video where he's in a comedy club, and it is insane. He's insanely drunk. Like, and the things that he said with the comedian, and the fact, like, I've never seen that clip. Like, it's insane that that was the first time I've ever seen that clip. I was just kind of shocked. I was like, yeah, no way. So yeah, that was wild. But hey, it is what it is. Jones got to do what he got to do, man. He touched a motherfucker in public, and a stand-up comedian called him out. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. But
I haven't seen the clip. I've heard it referenced in conversations, but
it's kind of wild, bro. Like, I've never actually, like, I was surprised. I was definitely surprised by the content that Guru put out. It was pretty grade A content by him. I'll give him that.
You know what it is, though, because the one thing I wanted to ask you was, because we're talking about the MSG. We've talked about the MSG card for about nearly 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Why they haven't announced that fight? Because it's clear that the UFC want to make that fight. So I don't really know what's standing in the way of them formally announcing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be in November, right?
Yeah.
So they got 2 months to announce it. I know Jones has been tweeting that he's working hard. So, Then John Jones edits hard though.
I'll be honest, because I've seen Leon lose, and then I've just saw Dennis lose the other week. And I'm just like, fuck, man, if I see Stipe lose, and from all this fighting in Paris, and it's just, Ed's boys are all getting whooped right now. I'm not happy, Bunny. And this reminds me of when I used to clown you. And this this doesn't feel good. And your boys are now all of a sudden primetime fighters. They're all winning fights. Dan Hooker's now broke into the top 6. What the fuck's going on?
It's just it ain't so fun when the tables have turned, young man. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so I did not cover one of the pay-per-views, right? It was UFC 304. Yeah. So UFC 304 was not covered by eBay himself, and I just never got to give my thoughts on what happened. Like you guys know, I'm a big Leon Edwards fan. That's my guy. And I rewatched the fight actually recently last week.
They broke my heart. I couldn't watch it again.
UFC 303. What was that?
303 was Poatan, I think. It covered the Conor card.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. But I mean, I made a video. I had fun. I made like a little short clip dissing like every Yuri fan in existence.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I spoke about it a little bit. You guys know how I felt. I was happy, but I didn't get to tell you about the sadness of Leon Edwards losing that fight. And I watched it, and I know some people are gonna call me a hater. Bilal fought a phenomenal fight there, but I just find it weird. Okay, call it excuses, whatever. I just find it weird that they're, it's the UK, right? It's their pay-per-view, but I get it. USA is literally the greatest country of all time. I get it. I understand. You want to appease those fans, but why are you switching their time zone? I've never seen them do this. I mean, the last pay-per-view they did with Kumar Usman and Leon Edwards for the trilogy, I mean, I enjoyed it. I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I watched it till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's how I watched the last pay-per-view. This time, I'm watching it at night as if this is in America. And I mean, the aspects of this, I mean, I get it. Bilal went through the same thing. I'm not trying to say anything, but it's weird that they had to fight at night. It's weird that, like, I used to work graveyard, so I know how it feels to like work at night, do stuff at night. Like, there's certain areas where you really shouldn't be fighting or like doing anything like physical. And like, it's just weird. Like, and there's just certain time zones you're not going to perform at the best. And that has a real effect. But yeah, I just felt like Leon, I think partially underestimated Bilal in there too. I do truly believe that. I think he really went in there with a big head. And I think he didn't respect Bilal. But I just really felt like Leon, his instincts, his ability to counter, it just wasn't there. Like the Leon Edwards that we know, like, I know people are talking about, oh, he's done this before, I get it. But that was just like the fact that he got slammed on his head, like his grappling awareness, all of it, like it just seemed slow. Like he was very slow to the punch, and he just wasn't seeing things come at a rapid rate. Instinctually, he's a good fighter, but I just felt like Bilal, he wanted it more in there. That's one thing that's a fact. And yeah, man, it's weird. It's weird. It was really weird. It was really weird.
It was weird watching, believe it or not, as well.
Yeah.
Like he's an individual who starts slow as it is, and then obviously I'm not blaming. I'm not going to attribute it to the time. I imagine it would affect him more than the others because he takes a while to get going. But I'm also seeing Paddy Pimblett and Tom Aspinall get it done in one. I'm not saying that Leon was expected to get him out of there in one round. But I'm saying it didn't affect any of the other fighters on the pay-per-view, if that makes sense. So that aspect disappointed me because obviously as a Leon fan, I expected if you're going to lose the bout, at least lose it fighting. Do you get what I mean? I don't know how to explain it other than if he'd lost the bout, but I'd been like, do you know what? It was really close. It was 3-2. Kind of like how Sean Strickland lost the bout. Like, obviously, I was like, that's a really tough fight. That could have gone either way. But you know what? He showed up whatever, right? But he didn't. He turned up, and it was like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was almost as if whatever, like, and like even in the aftermath, he was like, oh, we'll run it in the US. Like, unfortunately, as much as I like him, he doesn't command that level of. He doesn't command that level of. He's able to demand that from the UFC because the UFC will make Bilal Shaf cut next.
Yeah.
Shaf was on to win. We know where they're taking the belt. Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi. So we're going to see that fucking belt once a year. And then they'll either do Leon, Ian Gary, or they'll just fast track Gary into the next fucking title shot. Which means if I look up the rankings now, who are they going to fucking put him up? Who are they fucking putting him up against? Like the winner of Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady. Again, he's going to be
fighting my guy Ed.
He's going to be fighting another crotch sniffer, or he fights Della Maddalena. Like it's just. I'm annoyed because obviously I've waited so long for like another champion. Like after Bisping, I waited 6 years, and then we've already lost the belt, and then Tom doesn't even have the undisputed belt. So it's a shit time for UK MMA at the minute. We were on top of the world like 12 months ago, and now it's just shit.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Let me respond to some of these. I know Roomwrecker wants me to talk about Brendan Allen and Mr. Nasruddin Amaya. Both of those guys are my boys. I feel like we can all admit that. But for all the Nasruddin Amaya fangirls that have come out the woodworks out of nowhere, I just want you to say, Phil Hawes, and Phil Hawes, go do your tape. Go watch your fights. Phil Hawes versus Nasruddin Amayev. Go rewatch it. Watch what Brendan Allen does to people, and you'll have my answer.
Look at you, best friends with Phil Hawes all of a sudden.
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, Phil Hawes beat him. And if you think Brendan Allen is below levels of Phil Hawes, I got another thing coming for you, buddy. So see you guys in Paris. We will sub him in one. I love Nasruddin, but there's levels to this game. Quick thoughts on Umar beating Corey. How does he match up with Merab and Sean? I feel like it's a good question.
What did you make of that fight? I'm intrigued to get your thoughts on that one as well.
I thought Corey fought a good grappling defensive fight. But at the same time, Umar stood his ground in the striking exchanges. I thought Umar actually did well. And I was impressed. I really was impressed with Umar in some facets of the game. But it was a great fight. It was a great competitive fight. And yeah, man, I think he does well against Merab, and I think he does well against Sean.
I think Sean's lateral movement and his distance management is just. He's gonna be hard to pin, man. I'll be real. I think against Merab he'll do all right. But can I just highlight, FA, that my boy Aljo got it done in one, by the way, and this is the guy they talked up to be the next goal at 135.
Wait, say it again.
My boy Aljo got it done in one, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know.
Well, we're gonna take out Bumsar as well. You wait, we're gonna take him out as well.
DDP is hittable though. Jared could tag him up. Hey Punk, Batista lost to bum ass Trevin Jones, and Batista emasculated your boy Simone. Simone has been going through hell right now. I do not want to.
Who they matched him up with now? This one he got announced.
Dude, it's so sad. I don't know what's been going on with Ricky Simone. He lost his last fight too to that fucking Oliveira guy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that made me sick, man. Thoughts on your boy Frivolo fighting his brother Zion? What do you think?
I think Frivolo's gonna fucking do him. But to be honest, I don't understand why they're making that fight. Like, I think he deserves a better name. But I think he was supposed to fight someone else, and then they got rebooked, and then he got moved to this Paris card. But it is what it is. But yeah, man, 135 is heating up, man. That Montel Jackson just sparked Blackshare like stiff.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was he's another one. This is what I'm saying. Like we've said this before. We've said this about midget MMA. It's just like the guys who aren't ranked. You're like, what the fuck? Like they're really good. But
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like Montel Jackson would present a lot of problems to people in the top 15. I don't even know if Munoz is still ranked, but I think Munoz's chin gets cracked by him.
All right, let me read these. Okay, they are just cooking Ricky Simone in the chat right now. I am not gonna acknowledge any of that. Do you think Umar beats Yan too? You guys know me. I love Peter Yan. I think Peter Yan would figure a way out to beat him, but most likely, most likely,
You mean the one Russian who can't wrestle? Yeah. Okay.
Umar will probably hug him to death, and yeah. But I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I think Umar. I've always been high on Umar. You know, I've always given him his respect. You know, AKA legend.
AKA tax.
I mean, it's just the truth. I think he's honestly the best out of the three that have came out. I mean, Said Nurmagomedov, Islam, and Umar. I'm a bigger fan of Umar. I think he's the best, right? But at 135, it's so competitive. You know, these guys are so elite. You know, I mean, from 1 down to 15, like it's Russian roulette. So
you say that, but they find a way to like almost not duck the competition, but weave their way into title shots. Like Sean O'Malley didn't have the most elaborate run to the belt, and neither has Umar really. Like they're gonna give Umar like a run to the belt after what, 1 ranked win, 2 maybe. I don't know who was ranked before that, like who he beat before that, but it's just I think he beat Barcelos before, and then off the Barcelos fight, he beat this Kazakh guy that was unranked making his debut, and then after that, he's fought Corey Sandhagen. So it's just they're not. I just don't. They're just gonna do it, and we all know about the Timu Conor Khabib fight that's gonna be O'Malley and Umar. But that's assuming UFC Noche goes to plan for the UFC.
Yeah. So okay. So since we have some time, let's talk about UFC Noche. Actually, all right. Before we talk about UFC Noche, people have been talking about it. The Jared Cannonier fraud check of the ages happened last Saturday. Let's talk about it. Fighting Nerds, first of all, is for real. I feel like that is, I mean, undeniable. But Kyle Barallo's performance against Jared Cannonier, obviously, Kyle Barallo, he looks like he could be the second coming, right? That's what a lot of people are saying. There's a guy named Brendan Allen that probably disagrees, but that's beside the point. He looked amazing. Probably his best performance in the UFC against his most legit competition. But I feel like Jared Cannonier's always been a fluke boy, in my humble opinion. I mean, if we go down Jared Cannonier's, like, I mean, legacy per se at middleweight, right? He gets a short notice fight against David Branch. He wasn't supposed to beat David Branch, but he beat him. David Branch got chinned. After that, he gets a fight against Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson is mutilating him in the grappling. He lands a lucky uppercut, and it's over, right? He wins that. Then he gets matched up with Robert Whitaker. He got shown levels. I felt like the people knew, and it was a wrap, right? Then he goes on one of the flukiest runs I've ever seen in life. He beats Kelvin Gastelum. I thought he won. I thought KG won 3-2. Facts. Just my humble opinion.
I'm loving this. Keep going. This is funny.
And then, no. Then he fights Derek Brunson. This one was the worst. Rewatch the fight. I've watched the fight 3 times, and it pains me to watch it. You know what they say, man. When you lose something, appreciate it when you had it there, right?
Brunson chinned him early on as well.
Yeah, Blonde Brunson had him on skates, bro. He had him in the corner, okay? The fight was done, all right? He had him in a rear naked choke. He was like, Jared Cannonier has never been flabbergasted with that mastery of technical prowess that Brunson was given that ass, okay? That is a fact. Then Brunson gets tired. He makes a small error, which leads into a big comeback for Jared Cannonier and one of the biggest flukes I've ever seen in my life, and lands these fucking elbows that everyone likes to replay. this and that.
That was
And
a nasty
obviously-
knockout. I'm not gonna lie. I felt so bad for Brunson as well because if you remember right as well, like, do you know what it is? I think me and you, I don't know, like, obviously I know you say things, but you're kind of joking as well. Like, there was like really a resurgence for him, and he was getting a lot of really good wins.
He would have had a title shot if he would have
Like,
won that,
okay.
bro.
Like, for context, I know people are gonna say Till and Edmund Shabazian suck, but those guys, when they were on the up, people were fucking like, oh shit, like these are really bad fights. Like,
Yeah.
Brunson's gonna get chinned in one by both of them, and then he beat both of them, and he fucking.
Oh, let's not forget about the Kevin Holland fraud check. Before it was cool to beat Kevin Holland, we did it. Okay, Brendan Allen and Derek Brunson did it first. Okay,
People saying Brunson was that was an error.
all right. He was on his fight win streak when in a year. We whooped them. We stopped that.
He had the Charles Oliveira run before Oliveira with the blonde hair and shit, inspiring the world.
He was running shit, man. But yeah, so it is what it is.
Bro, he keeps saying my boy's about to get KO'd by Holland. Who's Holland fighting?
I think Roman Delizzi.
Since when is Roman Delizzi my boy?
I think that's who he's fighting. But listen here, bro. Listen here. I'm not done, bro. I'm not done. Jared Cannonier not only flukes the biggest fight of his career, fights for the belt in the most forgettable title fights I've ever seen. It is the one fight, including Dan Hooker versus Edson Barboza, I will never rewatch. There's no point. There's no need. It is what it is.
That's a hard fight as well. There's certain fights where it's like, you know, like we always talk about dudes getting sparked, but when you see dudes getting beat pillar to post for rounds on end, it's something uncomfortable about watching it. Like, I know the guys in the chat won't like this, but seeing Justin Gaethje just fucking pick Tony Ferguson apart for 5 rounds is just
beautiful. I love it. I love what Justin Gaethje did to Tony. This is one of my favorite fights to rewatch. I've rewatched that fight 5 times. It's on repeat. But listen, it doesn't end here. Jared Cannonier had one last fluke up his sleeve, and it was the final straw for eBay. It was the final straw. It was the Marvin Vettori fluke of the century. To this day, I don't understand how that fight went the way it went, but hey, it is what it is.
What did you make of the Imavov stoppage between the two of them?
He was schooling him, man. It would have got worse. His chin got saved. That's all. That's how we should look at it. All right. And just to go back, Jared Cannonier had one of the flukiest fights with Marvin Vettori, but we all know it had to come to an end because Nasruddin Amayev and Kai Baralo stood up against flukeness and witchcraft because the guy did play with stones and crystals. We all know that. So he probably was cheating. We all know that, right? Facts. I don't lie. Actual factual. And Kai Baralo, they stood up against the odds and sent that old man packing.
I'll tell you what, though, that gym is making a lot of noise right now.
Yeah.
That is a gym that's literally contender for gym of the year, isn't it? With Rufi on there, Gene Silva on there, Borrell, obviously what he's just doing. I know Thiago Moises, like in terms of what he's been doing for years. Protez getting a KO in the last pay-per-view. Nobody's ever put Legion in the hand out like that. And it's just yeah, man. It's just obviously there's a few guys on there doing something. I think if the UFC are smart, I'd hold on to a few of them for that Brazil pay-per-view next year in the first quarter because they could cook.
Yeah,
like,
they could.
They could cook because for whatever reason, like you know this as well. A lot of the CKB guys, they like to keep them for them Sydney pay-per-views and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, keep some of the fighting there guys for the Brazil pay-per-view. Watch them just blow up like that. Honestly, especially the way some of them fight as well. Like a Barrio fighting a potential title eliminator, and a Protez getting his first ranked guy. I think Magny was ranked, or am I tripping when he fought him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Magny was 15, so he's gonna get the 15 spot. So imagine him fighting like a Buckley in Brazil, or like Protez testing his striking against Jeff Neal's hands. Like Jeff Neal is number 10. Like those are. Jeff Neal's fighting RDA, which really doesn't make sense. But it's just, Yeah, just see him against Jeff Neal in Brazil. That would be fucking fun. But yeah, a lot
All
to
right,
say.
what
3 or
you
5.
want my thoughts on Edmund Shabazian? You guys have been hounding me on this. It was sickening. I just want to say that.
Can I just add? I picked GM3 round 2 sub. By the way, I called that to a fucking T.
Edmund's fight IQ is like undeniably.
He had it hurt as well. That's what fucking pains you even more.
No, that wasn't even the worst part. So, Ed, right? Just think about the logic here. I hurt you to the body, right? I hurt you to the body. You go down, and you're covering your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not hurt to your face at all, but you're hurt to the body.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wailing on you to your head that does not hurt instead of letting you get back up and attacking the body again, right? Which makes more sense, right? Instead, I wail on a guy that isn't hurt to his head. I let him recover. I let him play his jiu-jitsu game that he's the best at, and I get submitted. Yeah.
I agree with you though. Like, when you're in a position where you know you've got the edge on the feet and you have got him hurt and you've dropped him, but you know you don't want to go on GM3's guard. Like, if the ref's asking you, like, how do you want it? Do you want it standing or do you want it down? Up or down? Up or down? If you're Edmund, just stand up and go. Just lift his fingers up, raise his fingers up and go up, and then all he had to do was stand GM3 up again, cut the cage off, start ripping against his body, mixing it up.
He would have stopped the guy, bro. Like, I was watching it and I was like, it was
Not
another
enough fighters do that though. Not enough fighters take advantage of that rule.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm happy GM3 got it done. Like, I mean, good for him. But like Edmund, I mean, he has no one else to blame but himself, man. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, he's just gonna go down as one of the. He has to be one of the biggest. I mean, fucking like hype.
So what if?
Huh?
It's one of those what ifs, isn't it? Really.
I don't even know if it's a what if. He fought a lot of people, but
he fought good dudes though. He didn't. He weren't like he fought crap dudes, and you go, actually, do you know what? He wasn't very good. Like, he fought good dudes.
Yeah, he beat Brad Tavares. That was his best win. And knocked him out, sparked him.
I'm gonna look through his wins now. Said that Brad Tavares, Darren Stewart isn't someone you get out there, but he got the split over him. Darren Stewart at the time was good. Marshman was in and around the scene as well. And this was when he was doing this. He was so I'm looking at Daniel McWilliams KO, ground and pound in the Contender Series round 1 win. Charles Bird, elbows and punches round 1. Marshman rear naked choke round 1. Brad Tavares left high kick round 1. Like, he got like 4 or 5 consecutive round 1 finishes. There's not a lot the UFC could have done, because you know as well as I do, the problem is with a division like middleweight is the gap between the top 15 and the unranked heavyweights is so the unranked 185 is so big. You beat 2 or 3 of those schmucks and you're gonna fight someone who's gonna come across and like a gatekeeper like Brunson who might just shut it down. Brunson's been shutting down prospects for the last decade.
Yeah.
You only have to look at even Widget. We've just talked about Kyle Barrio. Like, he hasn't beat many people for him to be in a position to fight Jared Cannonier.
Yeah.
Like, the win before that was who? Wasn't
it was Paul Craig.
Paul Craig was like number 12 at the time, number 13, something like that. And then after that, he gets the top 5 after that. Before that, he hadn't really fought anyone. Like, this isn't me trying to hate on him, but I'm saying middleweight, because middleweight isn't a super deep division. Like, if I don't want to sound like a schmuck, but it is really easy to climb up that division if you're half decent.
Yeah.
You only have to look at Imaev. Like, this time last year was what, 15 outside the rankings. He's number 4 now. Kyle Breyer was outside the rankings last year. Brennan Allen was just outside the rankings last year. Roman Dolidze was. Khamzat Chimaev wasn't in the rankings. Hernandez wasn't in the rankings. Michel Pereira was at 170. Chris Curtis wasn't in the rankings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of the top 15 went in the rankings this time last year. Which is what I'm trying to say is there's not a lot of work for you to get ranked.
And I feel you on that. What was I gonna say? So yeah, it's weird, man. It's very weird. I do want to change the subject a little bit.
Yep.
Let me read some of these. Do you view Kamza as a legit threat to Drickus, or does he beat Rob?
That's a
Uh,
good question.
I think he beats Rob, and I think he gives Drickus a good fight for the first 2 rounds, and I think Drickus figures him out eventually. I think it's a pacing thing. I still feel like Kamza has pacing issues. I will say one thing though before we get into talking. I am going to be ending the Instagram live. Part of this is just like an experiment I'm doing, so it's just something I did, but I will be ending it. But we'll still go on YouTube. So just to let you guys know.
Yeah. So what was the question about Kamza in relation to his matchup with Rob Whittaker?
I think he beats Rob. I think Rob is very, very washed. I've been said this. I mean, he's been dropped in his last like 6 fights. I think it was like 7 times he's been dropped. That's a
I don't think Kamza's striking is good enough to pose him a threat. I'll be honest with you.
I don't either, but I do think that I feel like a crazy onslaught and a very awkward but explosive guy can give him problems. And we saw Drickus when he just went at him. It kind of was he didn't know how to react. So
Drickus' game plan, a lot of it revolved around him being southpaw. Kamza doesn't have the luxury of being able to fight southpaw. To be honest.
But I also do believe the threat of the takedown makes a big fact here. Like I believe that if Kamzat throws takedowns here and makes him think takedown, then he goes overhand, I think he can catch him.
But how Kamzat's the last 3 fights, his health's always been an ongoing topic, and with the pace he fought Kamaru Usman at,
okay, so Usman, right? Let's talk about Usman. I think Usman was washed too going into that fight, but hey, facts are facts. He had what a 93, right? What was his takedown average before the Kamzat fight? Like 93,
something ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes, something like 95%. I think the only time he's ever been taken down was against Leon at that time, right? He gave up almost 3 takedowns in the first round against Kamzat, against a guy that has some really, and I don't, you guys know how I feel about Khamzat Chimaev, man. Don't even get me started. But still, the facts are the facts. He has shown us that he has a very high degree level of wrestling. I think his cardio is always going to be suspect. The only time anyone's ever really scared him from wrestling was Gilbert Burns. But besides that, I mean, he still got a takedown on him, and he still initiated some type of grappling against him. I think it's like, I mean, it's first round or bust for Kamzat. And obviously we know Robert Whittaker's, he's a vet and he knows how to win long distance kind of fights. And he gets better, I feel like, as the rounds go. But I just feel like his chin is just there to get hit. And I think, I mean, they both beat Ikram, right? Like, yeah. So I'm not like hella impressed that, Kamzat beat him, not Kamzat, fucking Robert Whittaker beat him.
Well, Kamzat beat him in the regional scene as well.
Exactly, right? And I feel like they kind of beat him in very similar ways, right? So I just feel like I'm not too impressed with Robert Whittaker. I've been not too impressed with Robert Whittaker for a very long time.
I'm going to be honest. I think before obviously their fight got announced and then got unannounced and then cancelled, all this bollocks, I picked Rob to win. I can't bet against a guy who lasted 10 rounds with Yoel Romero, like one of the most explosive, dangerous athletes I've ever seen step foot in the cage. It's just one of those things where that guy could wrestle. That guy, like people talked about his pace, but I think to fight a guy that explosive, to do it for 25 minutes and to share the octagon with him twice, it's not a lot that everyone could do. Like I don't think Rob will ever fight a matchup that more intense than Yoel Romero, and the fact he's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, he fought. I'll give him one thing. I mean, it depends on what you guys consider prime. I mean, Yoel at the time was like 39, their first fight, and then 40, I think, their second fight. And I would say that's technically a prime Yoel, which is.
I know people always do the whole 32 is his actual prime. Like, for an MMA fighter, but not a lot of motherfuckers are like at their prime at 32. Like it's just one of those things where like Alex like Poatan's a prime example. He's going on forever. John Jones is holding the belt at 35. You've also got Alex Volkanovski. He weren't really considered pound for pound number one until like what 34, 33. So it's just you do get fighters, and your Romero was just a genetic specimen. Like you watch Dragon Ball Z, that guy's like built like a fucking android. It's like something out of a lab. Like Dr. Jerome made that schmuck. I refuse to believe like anything else. It's just like I just think I just think this. We've just seen so many frailties with Hamza, and getting him to the cage is the biggest challenge. So
yeah.
I honestly think that there's certain things where I just think Rob's not stupid either.
Yeah.
Like, I know people said this about I know people talk about the DDP fight. It's like the DDP fight was a bit different in my opinion. I think he just kept getting clipped, and he just couldn't adjust to the fact that Drickers was southpaw, and I think Izzy in the second fight dropped him from southpaw as well with a straight shot down the pipe.
Yeah, that's true.
There was just something where DDP's team had identified the footage and exploited him. So but I don't, like I said, I don't think Kamzat has that luxury of being able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't either, but I just feel like, yeah, I agree. The southpaw stance probably had a big factor in those changes.
I'll be honest, watching the Marty fight just made me think, yeah, this guy, if he fights the right guy, is going to exploit him really bad.
But I just don't think it's Robert, especially in a 3-round fight. So, like,
is it not 5?
Huh?
Is it not 5?
I don't think so. I doubt it, but
is Abu Dhabi 309 or am I being done?
I think it's 308.
308. I'm gonna look this up now. You said that. Yeah, it's 308. It's the co-main, but I'm trying to find out how many fucking rounds it is.
I know sometimes they've made certain co-mains like 5-round fights.
5 round middleweight bout between former middleweight champion and Kamzat.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
It's 5 rounds, man. Like I agree with you. If it was 3 rounds, I'll be honest. I would bet on Hamzat. If it was 3 rounds, I would put money on Hamzat because Hamzat would just use the first round, try and win the first round, try and take a break in the second round, essentially get all his gas back, and then do the same thing in the first round that he did in the third round.
That does make things a little interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. That does make me think. But still, Chinny Whitaker, that's the problem. I feel
you really don't like Rob.
I don't. I've never been that big of a fan of him.
A lot of the guys with some form of grappling threat, he's finished though. Like Aliskerov, he's finished.
Yeah.
Vittori can wrestle, but Vittori's chin of a steel. He went to a decision.
I mean, but Dricus had a wrestling threat.
Dricus is, but he's only lost to really 2 guys at middleweight, hasn't he? And they're both champions. So it's not like
that's true.
Romero were the 2 decisions. Jacare Souza, he's head kicked and finished. Derek Brunson, he'd finished. Brad Tavares, he'd finished. It's just
if we look at 170, a legend in Court McGee taught him how to box and how to strike. So
I understand that, but I just think a lot of his frailties, I think Kamzat isn't the guy to expose those frailties, if that makes sense. I think because sometimes these fights, they just make matchups. And I think Rob is a dude who can really drag him into those later rounds.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was surprised that was a 5-round fight, and I actually wasn't aware of that.
I love the fact that it's a 5-round fight because we get to see what Kamzat's made of. How many times did you complain about the Gilbert Burns fight and the Usman fight, saying, "Fuck, I wish that was 5 rounds because I wanted to see how he would have gone after the third."
Yeah,
both those fights, he either won or lost 2-1. And we all wanted to see how he would have got in the championship rounds, but those fuckers at the UFC never gave this to us. So
yeah, we'll see.
But I also want those Bellens to fucking keep a middleweight on ice in case Kamzat doesn't show up. So those guys better be prepared to throw the bag at Sean Strickland if Kamzat Chimaev doesn't show up.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting for sure. I think he will show up. I have a feeling he will show up. I think he knows this is important.
Do you think there's kind of a gun to his head situation?
I think he has to. I mean, it's Abu Dhabi. There's not a lot of excuses here. I know injuries happen, and I know he's a guy that's like he's had health issues, but I think this is one of those situations where they're telling him like, hey, you will get a title shot here. I mean, like, I know they had promised him a title shot if he beat Usman, but really it didn't make sense. I mean,
Have you seen that statistic? It's on someone's posted it on Twitter. Like, I think because he's been in the UFC 4 years now.
Yeah.
And everyone talked about him not winning one belt, winning two. Remember, people said he had the ceiling to be champ. Since then, we've had Dricus du Plessis make his debut, win a belt. We've had Alex Pereira make his debut and win 2 belts. We've had Tom Aspinall make his debut and win a belt. Like,
yeah, and he's been the one that hasn't.
And we've had Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley debuted in that time. He's won a belt. Ilya Topuria has debuted after the fact. He's won a belt.
Yeah.
We're literally talking 4 or 5 champions. You know, that's half. We're talking. That's 2/3 of the male divisions.
No, I agree with you.
Who's been there grinding for years and years on end is Pantoja and Bilal.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I feel like there's a lot of aspects that go into that with him. I mean, obviously the health issues, and then the biggest issue was him fighting at 170. I think that was the biggest, career deterrent, because even though he was succeeding necessarily, like, you know, he mutilated Jili Lang. He had a really good fight with Burns, but he just should have never been in that weight class in the first place. And I think just that in general kind of hurt him a little bit. And then obviously the Nate Diaz fumbling of the bag, I think that hurt him a lot. But I don't know what's been going on with his passport and the visa stuff. I kind of don't understand that, but that
I think I have a rough idea, but I'll tell you off camera.
yeah, but that in itself has caused him issues too. So it's like, it's weird. Like with him, it's very weird. Like he's like the Share Bullet guy, or whatever his name is. He's stuck in Abu Dhabi, right? A lot of these guys are stuck in Abu Dhabi right now. So it's like, it's kind of hard to like function their career around that, you know? So, but he's a big commodity at the end of the day. He's still popular, and people, people were talking about him versus Gilbert Burns over Aljamain versus Peter Yan and Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie. That was really the main event. So like his star power, it's still there, but I think eventually he'll get exposed and it will be a great day. But I just do not. I have a really good feeling Robert Whittaker will get clipped here. I just really believe it deep down in my heart, because Chinny Whittaker does what he does best. And he'd be doing the stanky leg, and he'd be doing the dance, and he'd be falling on his ass for a knockdown. So I just truly believe that's how that fight's going to go down. But hey, you never know.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm fucking so glad they finally gave him a 5-round fight, though.
Yeah,
we get to see so much. It's just like I said, particularly the last 2 bouts. The Kevin Holland one, I don't really fucking count. That was a waste of everyone's time. But the Burns and the Usman fight, it was just. We all looked at it and went, what the fuck? We needed this to be 5 rounds.
But yeah, but I do, before we talk about UFC Noche, because I feel like we kind of skipped it, I do want to talk about something, because something got announced not too long ago, right? And it's the main event, actually, of Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev. It is
not that children garden, though, man.
It is Ilya, the GOAT, Topuria versus Max.
Hey yo, it's Jerome Holloway, okay?
Holloway.
I'll tell you what, bro. That guy was on demon time at UFC 300. I'll tell you, Jerome turned up for that one.
Yeah. Cool story. It all ends in October. We're taking him out. We're taking him to the woodworks. It's gonna be like Old Yeller.
Yeah.
We're gonna put him out of his misery. He's gonna be talking about it is what it is. It is what it is, and we're knocking his ass out like the UK's finest. Jai Herbert. Never forget, we knocked out Jai Herbert in the UK because he's from the UK. You can talk.
Do you remember when Ilya got headshot first, though?
Whatever. We ate it and we smoked him.
Nah. Do not make me pull up that screenshot of Ilya looking scared after 300.
Man, bro. It's okay. The receipts will be there. Okay. I'll put a picture of that face right when he knocks out Max out of unconsciousness and have him go cold. We'll see who's scared.
If you're that confident, would you do a pack watch on your own boy if he loses to Max?
I would never do a pack watch on Ilya. There's no need, because it's never gonna happen. You understand that? That's never gonna be a reality I live in. I would never in a million years need to do a pack watch on the El Matador, the best, in my opinion, skilled fighter in the UFC right now. Okay, he is. I truly believe it.
I saw him whiffing a lot against Emmett.
Dude, he was shoulder rolling finesse. That was a master.
Yo, don't disrespect Emmett. He was nice enough to take a picture with you. So
no, I like Emmett. He's a good guy, but he got, I mean, what, 50-44, right? Like, come on.
I'm just saying, Yair got Emmett out of there in 2. Your boy went life and death with him.
Bro, all right, we can compare faces. I felt like Ilia Topuria has done more damage to Josh Emmett long term than Yair. I'll fucking say that. Okay.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm gonna laugh so hard when Ilia Topuria just gets exposed so bad.
Yeah. 0-3 against Volk. 0-3 against Volk.
I'm just saying, when Max is the champ, right, and he's holding 2 belts, one with the BMF on one shoulder, the 145 strap on the other shoulder, and you're gonna have Georgian Gordon staring at the ceiling, being like, "What the fuck's happened?" After Max's head kicked in, then we'll see.
Yeah, 42. Okay, hold on. Let me show you this fucking picture, y'all. Let me show y'all this fucking picture of Josh Emmett, the guy that went the distance with Ilia.
No, it doesn't even matter about whose face looks like.
Look it up. He looks like he got killed.
It doesn't even matter, bro.
This guy.
It doesn't even matter. Has Max's face ever looked like that? No.
Yeah. Y'all ever see
did Max's face look like that against Gaethje?
Whatever. Yeah. Do you see Ilia's face? You see that? You see the king? You see when he raises his arms?
Bro, that's ketchup on his face, man. Don't worry about that. That's an old WWE.
Listen here, buddy. All right. If y'all ever saw that Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix special, y'all saw how he got basically murdered in the last episode. That's Josh Emmett right now. Okay. That's what Ilia does to people. All right. Let's look at what happened.
I'm just saying. I think Max has fought schmucks like him. I don't think he presents anything different. I really don't. It's just a little 5'6" guy with a level change and an overhand right. Like we've already fought schmucks like this before. 145 has been full of schmucks like this before.
We're wrestling.
It's just
We're wrestling too. Don't forget that. We'll submit him too.
We all know he's just a chorizo flavored Chad Mendes. That's all there is to him. You guys are all hyping this guy up. I tell you what, when this guy loses and he looks stupid, I'm going to be here to brag and rub it in your face when we do the next fight talk after this event. And you know what? Like it's just, and then you're going to be like, I'm so sorry. You were right. He's actually a bomb. You're going to come off the Ilia train.
That is the day I die is when I say that. That is the day eBay fight predictions is not working.
You're going to come off the Ilia train. When Ilia fights another one of your boys, then you're gonna start. Ilia fights someone like Alex Hernandez, and Alex Hernandez knocks him out, and then you're gonna be like, do you know what? Alex Hernandez is actually my boy. This is where we start seeing flip flop day all over again.
listen here, y'all.
This guy beat Damon Jackson, who we all know gets knocked out, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's so fucking dangerous. It's like, bro, and then he KO'd someone who came off a KO loss. It's like, what am I really looking into? The first guy he fought, who didn't take any substantial damage was Emmett, and he went to the scorecards with him.
Dude, he beat the shit out of it. Like I don't know how else to say this. He beat his ass, y'all.
I get that, but I also think he just couldn't. Like, I just think Max, a real Chad, gets Emmett out of there. Like Jeremy Stevens, the real hardest hitting 145, got him out of there.
Okay, there's a lot of complications in that fight. All right,
I'm just saying. Your boy probably couldn't even beat Jeremy Stevens right now. I don't think he's very good.
What the fuck, bro? Are you serious?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Bro, listen here, all right? We got better boxing than him. Let's just say that, all right? And second of all, let's compare common opponents, right? Let's do that. Let's play that game.
You're just going to compare freaking Volk, innit? This is all you're going
to do. Yep.
And look, this is how I'll tell you guys. This guy's a fucking snake. Volk's supposed to be his guy, by the way. This is how he talks about him.
I love Volk. Don't get it twisted.
I love Volk. I love Volk, but Ilya did it in 2 rounds. Ilya's my guy.
It's
All right,
facts. It is facts. It is facts. Okay.
and
And
let's
how
apply
many?
let's apply context. I know you go to college now. I know you go to college now. You know what context is. Like let's apply he beat a dude
Okay.
coming off a loss, a KO loss. He turned around in 2 months, 3 months at the best.
Ain't no one told him to do that. He did it himself, man. Like he's a grown man and he chose to fight him like that. So it doesn't matter. But here's the facts, okay? I'm gonna tell you this right now, Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed, yeah.
Last time I checked, Volk 5-0'd, in my humble opinion, Max in the first fight. The second fight was competitive. Max won 2 rounds. So eight rounds to Volk. And then he beats him another 5 in the trilogy.
Okay.
All right. Okay. These are facts. These are facts.
Yeah, but you know what it is? I keep telling you, like, Volk and Ilya are very different. Like, when Max was fighting Volk, Volk was a Chad. He was the great Macedonian general. You know, he was a fucking beast, pound for pound #1. But, like, Max, who he's fighting in October, he's fighting this guy who's about 5'5". Like, his beard looks like it's sprayed on. He's got shit kind of tattoos. Tries to wear suits and tries to dress like him as well. You know, he's overcompensating for a lot. You know, whereas my boy Jerome Holloway, he's putting dudes out. He's winning BMF belts. He's winning 145 belts. He's making multiple defenses. Ilya can't defend anything. Ilya's getting hand sanitizer bottles thrown at him. That would never happen to Jerome. You know what it is? Even the UK don't like Ilya, man. I'm telling you, like just wait till Paddy gets him. Never mind. Like after Jerome's done with him, then Paddy will get him. Okay, so don't worry.
Just do yourself a favor. I want you not to make the same mistake ever again. Never put Paddy Pimblett and Ilya Taporia in the same sentence. It's just not. It's not a good look, Ed. It's just not a good look.
My boy's ranked though. You can't say anything.
Yeah, at lightweight. Cool story. We're the champ, buddy. We're the champ. Okay, we did number 15. Okay. We've been there and did that.
Okay. CT eBay. Like you said King Green was gonna box Paddy's head off. Instead, he had him diving for legs and turned him into a princess. Sleeping Beauty settings. Man broke his arm as well, and we choked him out.
Listen, all right.
That's what the UK did to America, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the UK did, and this is what you guys are like. The UK can't grapple. Where's shit? And then we had the American try to fucking wrestle us, diving for legs, and then we turned him into Sleeping Beauty, and then he ended up going from King Green to Princess Green, had man sleeping on the floor, and we took his arm off as well. You know what?
Okay, yeah, all right. You
easy money, and we finished Bobby Green quicker than the current champion did. So what you got to say to me about that? CT eBay.
Okay, cool story, Mr. T. Ed boy. I don't know what else to call you. T. What is it? Tea and crumpets? What do y'all eat? Crackers, right? Tea.
Yo, you can't call me a cracker.
Yeah, tea. Oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm taking out of science.
No, I'm joking. That's not how you said. You said tea and crackers. That's funny. I was doing an Izzy there.
Yeah. Listen. Okay. Listen here. All right, Mr. Tea and Crackers. It's cool. Your guy beat Bobby Green. Jalen Turner did that.
King Green.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. You can call him whatever you want. I'll call him by his actual name. Yeah, Jalen Turner did that. I'm not really impressed. Dustin Poirier did that. Cool story. I mean, hey,
Dustin Poirier did that in Stone Ages, by the way.
I mean, he still beat him, right? A lot of people beat Bobby Green.
Okay. But was Bobby supposed to beat him? Yes or no? Because you told me Paddy wasn't very good.
If Bobby had any sense of fight IQ, he would have boxed him up. Okay. Instead, he decided to play grappling games with a primarily only skill set is grappling. We can be fair and admit that he's only good at jiu-jitsu.
You told me the UK can't grapple though, so how did that one work out for America?
Listen, all right. You out grappled a boxer. Good fucking story. Okay.
Nah, he had me sub since 2009. That's what I heard. 15 years. Pretty good for the UK, right?
Whatever. Listen, Linda. Okay.
Who the fuck's
All right, listen here. All right, Mr. T and Crackers. I know you like to talk about Paddy Pimblett, but last time I checked, when Paddy fought a real American, a man that doesn't change their names, Mr. Jared Gordon, he had to pay the judges to get a win. All right, let's not forget that didn't happen. Okay, buddy. All right, your guy's not that good. When he fights anyone with any comparable skill and any logic, right, any mental logic, it's a wrap. Okay.
I'll tell you what. Yeah,
Thumbs up.
I'll tell you what. It's a bit awkward for you when Paddy ends up fighting that Ellen DeGeneres looking schmuck and takes his top 5 spot.
Dan Hooker would knee his goddamn head off. Okay.
Well, it's about spamming knees, bro. My guy Paddy's too slick to get caught with anything that stupid.
We'll see. We'll see if you ever fight a Mr. Top 5, right? Just say, don't say Ellen DeGeneres. Before you say anything about Dan Hooker, start off with Mr. Top 5, okay? Mr. Top 5 in the world. I want you to say that.
Yeah, what? The pick-em fighter, win some, lose some.
Oh, my God. When Paddy Pimblett has number 5 on his name, hit your boy up. Because it ain't happening and you ain't hitting me up. All right.
When it does, what are you gonna say? I'm just kidding.
I'll apologize. I'll say, you know what, your guy's a good fucking freak. And
you'll do a YouTube short, tag him and apologize.
Yeah, I'll apologize. I like Paddy, you're a freak of nature. You figured a way to scam through the top 5, and you've given a lot of bums hope.
Okay, well, you can't say that.
That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say.
Nah, I actually think, because everyone's talking about Hooker and Oliveira and all this kind of stuff, I don't think that's the fight they're going to do. I really think they're going to look at someone like Hooker as a way for Paddy to get in the top 5 or the other side. I do think it's a fight they make, and they can do the whole MMA math thing where it's like, you know what, Paddy's beating the same competition as Islam is, and that kind of stuff. And you know what it is, before we know it, Tom wins his belt back. Tom becomes the heavyweight champ again. Well, not again. He's got the belt. But you know what I mean? John Jones fucks off. Tom gets his undisputed belt. Paddy ends up winning the belt off Islam.
Oh, my God.
It's really looking good for the UK, you know.
Oh, no way you just said that.
And then, you know, the best thing is we got that contender series guy, bro. We got Kevin. We've got a midget MMA guy now. So.
Oh, yeah, this is a good fucking fight. You don't understand.
Bro, you're gonna be fucking crying when he cracks
the war that will go on. We will expose you. We will play with you.
You got to do a preview with the Hulkamania American music and stuff, with the American flag and shit for this.
We will whoop you in the name of Benny. Okay, all right. You will not get past Benny O'Dare.
My boy is pocketing all the Benny's 200 grand in bonuses. Did you not hear Uncle Dana? Like your boy's gonna be fighting the premium.
That was a shame. That was a shame. Shame. I was happy Dana White said he'll never do that again. I was. You want to know why? Ed? Because a clown like Paddy Pimblett ruined it for everyone else. All right, go on.
It's gonna be so awkward for you when Paddy beats him and then Benny ends up fighting like.
Ed, Mr. T and Crackers, I don't know how you put belts of 155 of the UFC, the coveted, the most prestigious MMA organization in the world, and Paddy Pimblett in the same sentence. I don't know how you did that. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should write down. You should write lines down. This is what your punishment should be after Paddy Pimblett gets fraud checked. Paddy Pimblett's a bum. I need that 15 times on paper. Okay, sir?
I'm just saying, if Arman Sarikian can do it, so can Paddy.
That was a fluke. All right? He landed a lucky shot. It ain't happening again, buddy. It ain't happening again.
Oliveira did it too.
It's okay.
Edson Barboza did it.
It happened twice. They ain't happening 3 times.
Edson Barboza did it.
That was a long time ago. No one cares about that guy. He just lost his last fight. You want to bring someone else? Did Gamrot do it, huh? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, you can't compare Gamrot to Paddy, bro. Gamrot just got fooled around like that. Okay.
Gamrot would. That's another guy that would embarrass your boy.
Bro, Gamrot can't do anything to Paddy.
What do you mean? He'll out wrestle him. He'll out grapple him.
He's not gonna do it, bro. He's just gonna end up like Bobby Green, sleeping. Like he's just.
Oh my god!
I'll tell you what, yeah. I'll tell
you
you
submit the boxer. You're such a
what.
great grappler. You submit the boxer. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
we
so,
made him
so
look
amazed
because everyone said, "Oh, Paddy doesn't know how to manage distance. He gets hit too much." Da 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 da. Fights Bobby, controls the range. The guy who spams shoulder rolls. Da 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 da. Then Bobby dives for the legs. Then he gets choked out. I'm telling you what, like the Gamrot gets fucking dropped every fight, bro. Like Paddy's gonna wrap his neck up and absolutely choke him out.
Listen, you went.
Tell you what, yeah, I'm gonna look at this division.
You went life and death.
I'm in a good mood, yeah. I'm gonna look at this division and tell you how Paddy beats all of them. Jalen Turner, he fades, he's gonna whoop him. RDA, he puts a beating on that old man. Benoit, if he's got staff again, he's like will finish him faster than Poirier did. Moicano, glass jaw. Fizib can't grapple. Jerome, he's not gonna fight Jerome. Jerome, stay away from my boy Paddy, please. Mateusz Gamrot, easy money. Benny, old. Michael Chandler, 1 round of gas in him, we're gonna whoop him. Dan Hooker, punching bag, we're gonna whoop him, and he can't grapple. Dustin's gonna he knows what that feeling's like. Justin Gaethje,
this guy,
he's been subbed in 2 rounds before. We'll do it even quicker. Charles Oliveira, he quits. Ahmed Saryukin, he's small. Islam Makhachev, easy money. So, yeah, bro, Paddy will finish everyone in the top 15.
Oh. So, can I show? Let me.
By the way, I've said this to wind you guys up, but I do think a lot of those matchups aren't as hard as everyone. He isn't going to get like. I think they're very competitive fights. I just think.
So there's this guy named Nad Nurmani. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Paddy Pimlett's biological father. I'm trying to find.
Well, is this about him getting choked out? I don't even need to see this, bro. Like this is just. That's like child abuse as well. That guy was 16 when that happened as well.
What you said? I didn't hear you.
No, we're just saying Paddy was like 16 when that happened, so we don't even need to see that, bro. That's like child abuse.
Child abuse. He was whooping his ass, bro. So they've scrubbed this on the internet, huh? This is what the Paddy Pimblett nation does. They don't want to show
you tell me what Benny was doing at 16.
Saving children and being a great person. The other guy was losing fights in a cage. Cool story.
I'm just saying, bro. If I go through the top 15 and say what they were doing, Dan Hooker, what knows what he was doing, bro. Like he's having a midlife crisis right now, so life must have been rough for him back then. Michael Chandler at 16, fuck knows, he was probably adopting kids.
Just like Gamrot gets subbed by Paddy is what Broommerker is gonna. Oh wow, Paddy.
See, this is what I'm saying, bro. Look, he's not losing his next fight, bro. This everybody keeps saying Paddy's gonna lose. He's not gonna do this. He's not gonna do that. Then you guys start moving the goalposts.
Yeah, this is a good question. This is a very great. Does Paddy beat Grant? Hell, fucking no.
Paddy beats him any way he wants.
Oh my god,
bro. We're talking about a dude who made Bobby look like fucking Keanu Reeves.
You got one shot. You got one shot to beat him. If it gets to the ground, you get dominated. Facts. He's
got no grappling threat, and Paddy's good off his back.
He's not gonna submit Grant.
I'm just saying, my boy Paddy might be the next generation. Might be Tony Ferguson reincarnated. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god! All right.
That's why Tony's losing fights, bro. His life force is getting sucked, and Paddy's getting
yeah. So it's all because of Paddy, right?
Yeah, bro. It's no coincidence since Paddy's been in the UFC. Tony's been losing fights.
All right. Okay. I know I've been saying we're going to be talking about UFC Noche, but one thing I want to talk about, I just want to get into some Izzy slander. I feel like we haven't got into any Izzy slander. I feel like that's kind of wrong. I mean, we destroyed his career, last year. Not last year. I mean, we did kind of last year. We did destroy.
I think it was the year before because he lost the first Poatan fight the year before.
Yeah,
he turned around last watch and won.
But the African man, Mr. Israel Adesanya, lost.
Was he not China man?
To the realest African I know. Drickus
we're not, bro. I'm not involved, bro. We're not doing this.
To the realest African I know from South Africa. I just want your quick thoughts on the downfall of the Chinese man, the fanboy, the painting of the fingernails, the crying during press conferences. Israel Adesanya. Well, what's your thoughts on that?
What's my thoughts on the fight or the whole situation?
The whole situation, the dyeing of the hair of pink.
He a grown man. He could do what he wants in regards to all of that shit. It's just
Okay.
like I said. I just didn't like. I didn't like the build up, man. You knew this as well when we talked in private. I just did not like the manner in which they built the fight. Both of them have a part to play with it. You've also got Usman being a schmuck and adding his fucking 2 cents in, but he contradicts himself in every fucking thing that he says and does. So I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take Marty from Nebraska too serious in that sense.
Yeah. What do you think? What did I forgot what he said? Actually, I never actually watched it.
No, the clip about him saying, "Oh, just because my parents moved to China and I live in China, that don't make me Chinese." In relation to obviously, because you know South Africa's history, right? About obviously how they came.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So he was just saying that in relation to Drickus, innit? And obviously they were calling him. Sean Strickland's been calling him Dutchman and stuff like that. So it's all of that stuff in it. And like I said, it's just the build up wasn't nice. Like I think you're like me in the sense where you just want to see two schmucks scrap and then play the best one to win and stuff like that. But we don't even need to get into all of that bollocks. Like just fucking weird build up and weird energy from both guys. And we saw Izzy acting like super humble and shit like that. But we know for a fact, yeah, if Izzy had won that fight, he would have had a lot to say. So, and Drake has carried himself very well when he won that fight because he could have said all sorts of shit as well.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild.
I know, like, because obviously being from the UK myself, and I've discussed this with you as well about Leon joking to Bisping and saying, "Oh, well, I live here and I train here, so I'm the real UK champ. Like I did it properly." It's kind of like what Drickus was alluding to when he said it to Izzy, but Izzy and like he was targeting Izzy and Kamari when he made those comments initially. But again, people are too stupid, right, to read between the lines.
Yeah, that is very true.
I like for me, like, because obviously Leon came here when he was very young and being from Jamaica and everything else. Like, it would have hurt my feelings if people it would have hurt me as well if people had turned around and said to Leon, "You're not a real UK champ because of your like skin color or whatever," which is what they tried to allude to about Drickus, like being from Africa and stuff like that. So it's just like no one's ever disputed. Like Israel represents Nigeria and New Zealand, but like I don't see people say, "Oh, what is he's not a real New Zealand champ because he's black." Do you know what I mean? So
I think I found the clip. Let me see.
I think some people are weird. Some people are weird like that, though, aren't they? But
let me see if I can. You guys can watch this. What y'all think about Mr. Kumar Usman's opinion?
Oh, this one fucking.
Four African champions. So there's 4 horsemen. We've moved on from the 3 kings to where now it's 4 horsemen. I saw the debate, very untasteful because this is how division is continuously perpetuated. Was Israel born in Africa? Yes. Was he raised in Africa? Yes. Until his family moving him out to look for an opportunity. I understand it was a whole marketing thing for Duplessis, which he might have not necessarily meant it the way that Israel might have taken it all the way, but you have to be careful because it's dangerous. And that's why hopefully we can get Drickus on the show. He could talk more about that and clarify that because I feel like people are twisting his word to where everyone is carrying on that, hey, Drickus is an African champion. He's the African champion because everybody wants to be funny. Drickus Duplessis is the...
I think, right? That's what he said.
There's that clip I hadn't seen, but there's a couple of things I want to know. One, people are making a bigger deal out of the Drickus African champion thing because it pisses Usman and Izzy off. If they weren't bothered about the comments, people would be saying it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if I make a joke at you, if I make a joke towards you, not necessarily that kind of joke, but if I say a joke towards you and you don't like it, I know that it pisses you off, so I know how to get a reaction out of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I want to piss you off, I would say something to piss you off. That's what happens when you get people in a room that don't like each other and whatnot. The other thing he was saying is about he was saying something else. But he was just talking about it creates division. He needs to come on and explain what he meant. He explained multiple times what he meant, and he said people were making a deal out of this. He was one of those people. Yeah. He specifically referenced China and said just because my family moved here or whatever, that don't make me Chinese. But he's come on record multiple times saying he's American, and said to Colby Covington in the first fight that he's more American than Colby is.
Yeah, that's true. Nah, you're right.
There's so many things where Usman has referenced being American and being thankful for the opportunity he's got to live here and have a better life for himself, and that's what the American dream is like. So he's just going against the very thing that he stands for, and just contradicting himself, which makes no sense. And I'm pretty sure very early on in his career, his nickname wasn't even the Nigerian Nightmare, it was the American Dream. But if people dig into it further, they might know better than I do.
Ooh, look at this guy crying. Look at this guy crying, yo.
Bro, you're getting too much enjoyment out of this. I don't even like seeing this shit.
Look at oh my god. I'm sorry. Look at this guy crying, y'all. Let's just take a moment. This guy, Dricus Duplessis, made Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya cry. I'm gonna kill your dreams, bitch. I'm gonna kill you. That's what he says. I'm gonna kill your dreams, bitch. He's got these guys emotional, man. And I'm just happy. I just want to end it by saying,
can we talk about the fight and what you made of the fight?
Okay, I will. I just want to say I'm happy that this kind of champion will not be representing the UFC anymore. Goodbye and good riddance. Yeah. So the fight, I thought it was competitive. I thought Izzy showcased a lot of good like body work in the fight. But again, I mean, just Dricus, he fights the way he fights. He overextends with punches. It's kind of like he's taking a playbook out of Derek Brunson, which I've noticed, and a lot of people haven't given this credit for, but whatever. With the punching as if he's swimming.
I'm not making this about Brunson right now.
I didn't want to say that. I've noticed. Obviously, he's taken some tips from Mr. Blonde Brunson, but you could even say, I mean, his whole entire career is accredited to Mr. Brunson because it's a. You know what they say, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, just it's whatever. But I thought Dricus did a good job of implementing grappling here. But at the same time, never compare DDP to that. But I just want to say, I just felt like Izzy, this should have happened a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? With the grappling threat. I feel like a lot of middleweights should be ashamed of themselves. Looking back.
Vittori got him down.
He tried. I'll give Vittori that. He tried. But Yoel should slap himself for not like trying to wrestle as much as he did. Even though I felt like he won, but he could have really, made sense.
I don't even want to talk about that. That was such a shit fight. I'll be honest here, you could not pay me enough money to watch that fight.
Yeah, no, I feel you. A few guys, like, I mean, even Derek Brunson, I mean, not successfully wrestling with him was pretty stupid. He tried though. I'll give Derek that. Brad Tavares, a lot of guys that could have implemented wrestling but never did. And
Whitaker did all right in the second fight.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, he learned, right? He learned from the first fight, right? All right, I play Rock'em Sock'em Robots with a good striker. I'm gonna get knocked out. So he learned his lesson and he tried. And that's when you start noticing guys closing that gap with Adesanya. I felt like Adesanya did at one point, and I just felt like division sucked when he was the champ. He did have a edge, but Dricus just showed that, I mean, he's always been what he's been. He's a striker. He's not like this well-rounded mixed martial artist. Like, I know he's claiming some type of injury, but
yeah, I've seen that. That was just fucking. That was fucking silly. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because they're all saying, well, he weren't leg kicking, Oh, and then Paul Tan pointed something out, and he's like, oh, it's amazing how you shed the octagon for so long, and they just know everything about you, all this stuff. And I was just like, maybe he wasn't leg kicking because obviously fucking leg kicking a fucking wrestler is the worst thing you can fucking do. It's just why is it always a thing where Izzy looks shit every time he loses, but it's not a case of how well someone's nullified him. Why can't we say Sean Strickland did very well to nullify him, and he didn't land? He weren't really getting landed on by someone who's extremely accurate as Israel Adesanya. Why can't we say Jan Blachowicz executed his game plan very well, nullified the striking, outstruck him, and took him to the ground and controlled him? Why do we ever bring these things up? But it's always Izzy looked shit. How about talking about the guy who's on the fucking decline? And he fought on the. People don't notice this. He fought on the front foot this fight. And that fucking tied him out. And people said, well, Izzy looked a lot bigger this fight. That's the extra muscle mass tied him out. It's just like he's always gone on record saying he doesn't cut a lot of weight for this division.
I mean,
I'm not doing the work excuses. I'm not doing that.
I just think he lost. I think he lost.
He's lost three out of the last. He's lost 3 out of the last 4. Like, what is he? 35.
Yeah.
And plus the amount of kickboxing fights he's had. There's a lot of tread on those fucking tires.
Yeah.
Like, how about just acknowledging it rather than just making all these bullshit excuses for him? Like, that's the first time he's ever dealt with a dude who can do a bit of everything.
Yeah, and
that's what tied him out.
Yeah, and he utilized it at a very like high pace, and which I liked, But some people they feel how they feel, but Dricus, he slayed the Chinese dragon once and for all. And he got him out of there. But yeah, I just had to talk about that. Okay, this will be the last thing we talk about because Roomwrecker has wanted me to talk about this for the whole stream. Not Noche. eBay, talk about Kangaroo versus Fluffy and Burns versus Brady. So these are the 2 fight nights that are coming up. Obviously, Kangaroo Boy is Michelle Pierre and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. My opinions on that, because I probably won't break it down. I think Mr. Michelle Pierre will lose, but he has a real solid chance of landing.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is. It is. But they're trying to promote this fluffy nonsense. I get it. But I honestly believe, Michelle Pierre does have that one hitter quitter kind of power. So if he catches Fluffy, and Fluffy has been caught before, Kevin Holland did it. So it's a possibility, but most likely Fluffy will break him down, get him tired, and I think he wins this fight. And then Burns versus Brady is a really tough one.
That's a hard one. That's been one of the hardest predictions I've had to make all year, to be honest.
I think we've never seen Burns out grappled, right? That's a fact. And Sean Brady's path of victory is trying to out grapple Burns. Just what Burns are we going to get? Are we going to get the guy that fought Khamzat Chimaev, fought like a warrior, really came at him?
You ain't getting that schmuck. He's gone.
And really go for it? Or are you going to get the fucking guy that, it pissed me off, but are you going to get the guy that fought JDM, who was whooping, by the way, JDM, and showing him levels in jiu-jitsu and wrestling, but one slip up with the fight IQ, one slip up in grappling positions, gets hit with a knee, and basically gets finished, right? Are we going to get that guy that, you hear a crack of wind and his chin goes away? Are we going to get that kind of guy, or are we going to get the guy that really goes for it? I really don't know. It depends on what Burns shows up. I really believe it. I'm going to rock with Sean Brady here because I do feel like age is going to play a factor here. I don't think we're going to see the same explosiveness. I don't think we're going to see the same jiu-jitsu counters or like ability to, flee takedowns. I just think I think my biggest belief here is that Brady is good enough to keep up with Burns in the jiu-jitsu. I really believe it. A guy that submitted Craig Jones, I think you got to respect him on the ground. But I do think Burns has a big advantage on the feet. So that's one thing I'll say.
I can tell you my predictions, or I can tell you how I think both fights go down and give you more depth.
Who you got, man?
I think Michelle Pereira knocks out Fluffy in 1. But I think that he either gets it done or he fucking just quits on himself.
Yeah.
It was a decision. Can't see him getting subbed.
Yeah.
And the Holland fight showed me a lot about Hernandez, even though it was very early in his UFC career. I think there's certain things that Michelle Pereira can exploit. As well as I do, Michelle Pereira is very fucking dangerous, and he starts very fast. He's not a slow starter. Yeah. That's something that Fluffy's got to be wary of if he wants to have some success in that fight. I think Sean Brady, I think he's already fought an individual who's got better hands, cleaner hands than Kelvin Gastelum. I think he absolutely nullified him. I know the Bilal fight is one that we all look at and it's like, I can't take him seriously. But I think,
we gotta let it go, man. He's the fucking.
I also think Burns doesn't have as good of a chin as Kelvin Gastelum. Doesn't have the same gas tank as Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
He just isn't durable. I think as the fight goes on, things will just add up and it will become too much. Kind of
And
like what happened in the.
he's
Kind of
38. I think he's 38 now. So it's like,
yeah, there's a lot
time.
of tread in those ties as well. I think we saw it in a Usman fight where he just crumbles and crumbles and crumbles until he collapses. We saw it in the Kamzat fight to a degree where he gets dropped by a jab at the end of one of the later rounds, and then we saw it in the JDM fight as well. And we see this happens to his brother as well, bro. So there must be something in the water in the Burns house.
Oh yeah, his brother's a different kind of.
Yeah. So I honestly, I've picked. People are going to think I'm mad, but I've picked Brady in third round sub. But people are going to think because I think it's 5 rounds and there's a certain pace that they're going to fight. I think the longer the fight goes, it favors Brady because I think with an explosive guy like Gilbert, all of that muscle mass and everything else, the lactic acid going in, they're going to be a bit more slippery. He might not have the same success initiating the grappling sequences. He might not land as clean. His shots are going to have less zap to them if you catch one.
I agree.
I think all of these things can play in Brady's favor, if I'm honest with you. But I think if Gilbert Burns beats him, it will be like it'll have to be a really early knockout. But again, aside from Damian Maia, he ain't fucking really Damian Maia, and then I think Woodley he dropped in the first round. Aside from
he did drop Kamzat.
Weren't really a proper knockdown though, in my opinion.
But, he hurt him. I'll say that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I don't see anything in terms of his body's work in the striking since 170 that makes me think, oh my god, he's such a threat. Do you know what I mean? It's just I've always thought his striking was very, very overrated.
Yeah.
So
he has a good left hook and a good overhand. That's about
it. Not to sound like a prick, right? But you know these Americans who are like a lot of them have wrestling fighting bases. You guys all know everybody's looking for a high crotch. Everyone's looking for a level change. Everyone's looking for that overhand, right?
Yeah.
So if you're getting caught with that shot by Gilbert Burns on more than one occasion, that's on you, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It is. No, you're right. It is.
It's just like everyone's going to be like Gilbert Burns can't execute Bilal's game plan because he can't fight at that same pace that Bilal Muhammad can fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because Gilbert Burns, because Bilal can fight at that pace, he can throw more shots, and the accumulation of damage is how he obviously tied Brady up, and obviously the grappling on both sides. What happens with two grapplers is they cancel each other out, and it ends up being like a mid-off on the feet.
Yeah.
But Burns doesn't have that same level of gas to fight him on the feet for 5 rounds. So it's just.
I agree. I think what happened, especially with that Bilal fight, I think he really went in there. Again, I feel like everyone does this with Bilal. I think they really underestimated him. And I think even Joe Pyfer spoke on it on like the Joe Rogan podcast. I was listening to it. He really thought he was gonna go out there and outstrike him with leg kicks, and he did all right. I'm not gonna say he didn't. Like he looked horrible the whole fight, but the fact that he only went for one takedown against Bilal, and I get it, Bilal has great like anti-wrestling, but still, I just think that was really like insane. I don't think he's ever gonna fight like that ever because he's a grappler, no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
He said something before that fight. He said, "Oh, like I'm gonna have to start kickboxing some of these guys just so I can get them to sign on a dotted line with him." Because I think at the time he was ranked just outside the top 10, and I think Wonderboy had turned him down, and amongst other fighters had turned him down.
Yeah.
Be honest with you though, like fighting style aside, if the UFC presents you with a contract to fight Sean Brady for the money you're getting paid, you don't think it's the sexiest of fights or the fights that will make you a lot of money, do you? I just don't think there's no appeal to fighting him, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I mean he has like.
I don't look at him and think, do you know what? If I beat this guy, this is going to make a statement. Or this is what everyone noticed. He was obviously a very good fighter, and he lost his O. It's kind of he beat him. It's not really a sexy win. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I thought Sean Brady had a lot. Like, here's the thing. I thought Sean Brady had a lot of hype actually before his Chiesa fight. A lot of people thought he had like world champion status all over him. But that's what happens when you fight Chiesa. They just see your level, and when you can't lace up against the GOAT, and you can't get the job done against the greatest to ever do it, and that 170-pound division, it's understandable, you know.
I think I'll be honest. I don't know how many fights he's got left on his contract, but I think he's the dude that gets Makayev. You know
Who? Oh, Brady.
Brady?
Yeah.
He's just a dude that just doesn't put bums in seats, and he's not all that fun to watch. I'll be honest. Obviously, me and you watched the fight and look at it very differently. I thought his Calvin Gastelum performance was flawless, and I thought he looked very, very good.
Yeah, no, I had a feeling he was going to do that to KG. I did pick KG, but there was a good chance he did that. He was going to do that.
KG's funny though, man. He's dropping YouTube videos of missing weight,
which is beautiful, right?
Eating food and shit, bro. Be honest though, if that was a fighter that you didn't like, you'd be fucking talking so much mess.
Yeah, he's the best, right? He misses weight, and he's like, you know, he's known for killing the UK's greatest champion they've ever produced at middleweight.
Not this old Justin.
Oh, you didn't think I was gonna do it? You didn't think I was gonna bring that up?
Which one of them won a belt though? Can you remind me?
Who?
Which one of those two won a belt?
Oh yeah. The nursing home championship. Yeah. Go fight Dan Henderson.
Don't even make me talk about. Yo, you're talking about the UK. Don't make me talk about Oakland. You know what's Devin Haney getting up to? Bro. These are
first of all, these are shenanigans. All right. For last time I checked, the loss got erased. Last time I checked, he's undefeated.
Is that what goes down in Oakland? You guys can't get your own way, so you're trying to sucker punch people.
Last time I checked, he never lost to Ryan Garcia. It's not on the record books. So if it ain't on the record books, it ain't happened.
Yeah. The streets know all about that fight, though. The streets
we gotta eventually talk about UFC Noche. Let's really talk about UFC.
We have to talk about midget MMA. I guess we will.
It's. I mean, I love the main event. You know, I do love the main event.
I love the main event, but that card is just so fucking anticlimactic.
Yeah, I do agree to it.
You think about the money they've thrown at this fucking event, and we get Grasso Shevchenko, we get those two, Ortega and Lopez rebooked, and that's about it, really. And
yeah, those are the best three fights. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna lie. Alexa Grasso and Valentin Shevchenko are good dance partners. They actually produce like good fights. Like, I'm not gonna lie. They produce decent fights. So, how do you see this kind of going? Like, what's your? I mean, for the top three fights, like. Let's talk about Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. When they originally booked this fight, I kind of felt like Diego Lopez was the side. But after seeing his fight against Dan Ige, I wasn't too impressed. I kind of think low T City, Brian Ortega, Mr. TRT himself, I think he might win this.
That depends, though. Because, Brian Ortega had his girl in the crowd. He's like, I can't leave in front of my girl. Like, I don't know if you have the same thing in America, but there's this running joke where if your girl's on the sidelines watching you take part in a sport, you turn into like Prime LeBron or some shit, and you start putting in master classes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. I'll be honest, this is such a fucking hard fight to call. But I know that Ortega's kind of mentally checked out because he said he doesn't want to fight at 45, he wants to fight at 55. But it confused me because they booked him for 45, even though they said they want him in 55 in the future.
Yeah.
My only guess is they want to use what's left of his name value at 145. Have Lopez beat him and say, oh, look, Lopez has a win over a former title challenger. Let's give him the next title shot or whatever the fuck. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
In terms of how the fight goes down, it's hard to say because I don't feel like Brian's necessarily fought someone like Diego Lopez. And I don't necessarily think Diego Lopez has fought someone like Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
Even the one guy he was presented with that is durable is Ige. But that fight was a weird circumstance. Lopez was cutting weight. Then Lopez was cutting weight. Then Ortega said he can't make 145. Let's do the fight at 155. Then they were going to do it at 155. Then Ortega pulled out. Then we had Ige come in. And then they fought at a catch weight at a different weight completely. But then you got a dude who's drained from the weight cut, right?
Yeah.
That could have been like a Tony Ferguson situation where that could have been really messy. So
yeah.
It's just... That fight was a very weird fight, but at least we saw he's got a chin. But it's just, Ortega's got a chin on him, but he's there to be hit though. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's a situation where Lopez drops him and then wraps his arms around his neck. But Ortega's just a dude you can't count out, especially when he's hurt, right?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, it's tough. I mean, he's coming off a good win against Yair. He got his ass whooped.
He got his ass whooped, though. I'll be honest.
But he persevered. He figured it out. The real question is, does this fight go the distance, or will there be a finish?
I think it goes to the distance. I must be the only one who does, but I think it goes to the distance.
I just feel like Diego Lopez.
There's like a 3.5 inch reach advantage with Lopez. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just feel like he might be the slicker boxer out of the two. I just feel that's how I've been feeling about the matchup lately.
Do you know what it is, though? As cliche as it is, I always favor the younger, sharper dude, the hungrier dude on the rise, the one with the activity. Everything moves towards Lopez.
Yeah, that is true. That is
if you're
true.
Ortega, you've lost to two of the greatest featherweights of all time. You don't really want to fight at 145 anymore. They've given you this kid who's ranked number 9. They're like, what the fuck am I fighting? What the fuck do I have to fight left for at like 145? Because it's like...
Are they doing this at 145?
Sure, it's 145, unless I'm being stupid. It's definitely 145, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're Ortega and you beat him, and then Max beats Sloppy Topuria, then you're not going to get another fight for the belt, because how do you promote that fight?
Yeah, you can't.
You're not really getting another shot at 145.
Yeah.
And win, lose, or draw, this fight's at what his next fight's going to be at 155, which is why I think he's going to be like, right, I'm going to do the cut, I'm going to fight, whatever happens, and then he's going to fuck off. But like I said, I think everything from the activity, the age, who's more hungrier, who's got something to prove, all these kind of things, I think they all lead towards Lopez, you know.
Yeah, I agree. But all right, we're gonna make some history on Fight Talk. We're actually gonna talk about some kitchen MMA here. Some of the best cooks in the world of fighting. Some of the best cleaning ladies in the world of fighting. Some of the best meat writers in fighting.
Bro, I'm not involved. Bro. What the fuck?
I'm just fucking around. So I think Grasso has her beat here. I'm not gonna lie, Valentina put up a valiant effort in their last fight. It actually was a really good scrap. I'm not.
Who did you think won that fight though? Because they scored it a draw, didn't they?
I gotta rewatch it, but my original feeling was I didn't have a problem with Grasso winning. I think 3 rounds, but I just didn't score that last round 10-8. So I guess Shevchenko should have won.
I had it for Shevchenko. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was similar to the Usyk Pantoja fight, where one of them made a really silly choice at the end of the fight that cost them the round. Kind of like Cyril Gane and Francis as well.
Yeah,
especially in terms of like the grappling and stuff like that. It's just, unless Grasso's improved in their grappling and closed the gap, I think Shevchenko could win. But again, Shevchenko's another one who's fought at the top of the division for so long, and she got all this like mileage.
Yeah, no, I agree.
How did she get up for this fight other than you say, yo, this is the girl that's beat you twice?
Yeah, and I just think Grasso is also just, that a picture of the new generation. So I just think she should win. You know what I'm saying? Like,
age plays a factor a lot in these midget divisions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, does it not? Like, what's the record between 170 and down for title fights? It's like 2 and 37 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. No, I think it's 3 now because Bilal just won, but
no, Bilal was at 35, 36 when he won.
Yeah. I think isn't that
all three of them at 170. This is what I'm saying. T-Wood's got 2 wins and Bilal's got the other one.
Yeah.
So it's just, this is what I'm saying. Like midget MMA is just, if you're old and you got that mileage, bro, it's just.
Yeah.
Grasso's hands looked even sharper in the second fight than it did in the first fight.
She was fucking dropping her, bro.
She's only 31 as well, bro. I think either Grasso finishes her, especially with that crowd behind her and shit like that. Well, I think Valentina's gonna have to turn into a wrestler, bro, and try and bench it. Mix in the wrestling.
Yeah, and now let's talk about the main event: Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Obviously, I mean, we all know Ed said this fucking troll looking motherfucker Merab Dvalishvili would end the year as champ. And now Ed has an opportunity to be proven correct. I disagree. I think the evil Merab Dvalishvili will go down finally. The man that took down Henry Cejudo like a evil man would. The man that mutilated Peter Yan like an evil man would. He's finally going to go down. He should have got knocked out against Marlon Moraes, but it's going to happen now. All right? It's going to happen now. Okay? Enough of the takedown attempts. Enough of the dancing. Enough. He's getting knocked out. So, yeah, that is my opinion on this fight. I am going to be happy. He is an op. Maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, y'all, he might get a pack watch if he gets knocked out fucking hilariously. Okay? Maybe. But, yeah, what do you think?
This is going to be so awkward when your guy gets 10-8 for 5 rounds in a row. and America loses another champ. Bro, I'm just saying, I'm so sad the UK's lost a champ, so I need you guys to lose one as well, so I can feel better. Yeah, so you can feel better, dude. Like, I mean, it's not even about like it's not about countries anymore at this point. It's just about the sake of the sport. You know what I'm saying? We had Aljo for like 3 years. We barely recovered from that one. Okay, Al Goats, get it right.
Aljalain almost killed 135. Okay, but this rainbow looking clown, Sean O'Malley, he stopped the evil Aljalain Sterling in his tracks, made him kiss the ground that we walk on, right? So listen, we don't need basically a worse version of Aljalain to take over. Because, dude, I mean, if Merab Dvalishvili, Mr. Mom is his cousin, and dad is
yeah. Don't slander my boy. That's not even correct. No longer the best fight camp in the world. Don't even do that. Just because AK ain't touching belts other than Islam.
So I don't need that kind of trickery and that kind of mentality taking over 135. And I don't know if we'll ever recover an era.
People keep saying this. People keep saying this, Rob. It's just Merab. What does Sean do against someone who just, if he fails the takedown, he's just gonna keep going, bro? Like Merab is just.
Well, it's gonna be important for, I think, Sean to really catch him on the counters and take advantage. And Sean, we know how
catching with a backhand though. That's the only thing. Like that backhand coming back.
Yeah.
It's the only shot I can think of that will do it. I know everyone keeps talking about that left hook, but the left hooks are the guys through that all.
Woomrecker's taking shots now.
Woomrecker, I'm not happy about that one, but I'll let it slide because it was short notice and my boy got finessed. Fought at 155 as well, which pissed me off. Anyways, the left hook that all those guys threw that dropped Merab, they were all really tight hooks and they were from shorter, smaller guys. O'Malley doesn't throw the hook in the same way, which is why I don't think that shot's just going to be there. I really think it's the backhand and the straight shots. It's the one that's going to do it. And also that knee that he threw against Chito Vera, fucking hell. It's just, that's a knee that you're like, shit, don't get hit by that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I think it's pretty simple. Sean early and Merab late are, how I see this fight. I like the fight because they're both in their primes. Merab Dvalishvili is that guy that, he's really cleaned out a lot of those top 5 guys, man. I do give him his credit for that. I mean, the Marlon Moraes fight, it went the way it went, but I mean, wins over Cody Stamen, Moraes, Peter Yan, Henry Cejudo. I think I'm forgetting someone.
Did you say Yan?
Yeah, I added Yan.
Yeah. I just wanted to remind you in case you forgot.
Yeah, whatever, bro. Whatever. He's done a really good job of beating a lot of good top guys. And he's looked good. Like, he's looked good. So really at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be an interesting fight. It's gonna be an interesting fight because they're both at their best. They're fighting at the right time. Yeah, maybe this fight should happen maybe a little sooner, but But it's happening now, so it's good. And we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see, does power beat, insane cardio, or does insane cardio beat power? I think it's gonna be a really interesting fight. But obviously, you guys know I am gonna be on the side of Sean O'Malley. That gremlin looking motherfucker got to pay. He got to pay. I had to watch that live, y'all, with him and Cejudo, so I had to see that from my own eyes. He's got to pay for that one. So that's kind of how I got to look at it. Let me read this because Womb Wrecker has been printing this out in the chat. O'Malley got a stick and move like Frank Martin. Oh wait, I know what you meant to say, but still, dissing Frank Martin is nasty work, Mr. Womb Wrecker. But yes, we were 6 rounds up against the fraud and Mr. Tank, but whatever. We'll get that guy soon enough. On the feet, O'Malley, who is Izzy fanboys think is Izzy is the real style bender.
He's saying O'Malley's the style bender.
I'm sorry, y'all. American education for at its finest. Very similar to Kangaroo versus. Yeah, very, very true. All right, y'all. Any closing thoughts, Mr. Ed, Mr. Crackers?
Paddy's the 155 GOAT. Tom's the heavyweight GOAT. Leon's going to win his belt back. And I like midget MMA now because the UK have finally got a super dope flyweight.
All right, let me read this last one. Face of boxing, Punk. Okay. We'll see you very soon, Mr. Javante. Hits girls and likes to get in prison, Davis. We'll see you very soon. Okay, we'll see you very soon. All right, my closing thoughts are: we're back, bitches, and we're better than ever. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be clipping this, and I enjoy talking about fights, so I'll try to do this probably weekly, try to get something going. But yeah, man, hope you guys enjoyed. Love y'all. Goodbye. See y'all next Friday. And it's your boy eBay. I'm out of here. Make sure you like, all right, y'all. Make sure you like and comment. I don't care if it doesn't mean anything. Just throw some comments in there. Share the video. Let's get it up there, y'all. Let's get it up there. Let's make Fight Talk on the platforms that it needs to be put on, all right, where they can hear crazy motherfuckers like us talk crazy nonsense. Love y'all and goodbye. I'm out of here.
Peace.